Hello everyone. We're going to be taking a look at the 8.2 that quiz assignment. So you're going to type in the password all lowercase GCVS after you find your name in the drop down menu. So once you do that, you can hit OK, and you're going to see the first slide of this that quiz activity. So we're talking about the zero product property, which essentially says if you have one thing multiplied by another thing and it equals zero, then one of those two terms have to equal zero. So if you have 7 times something equals zero, this something, this blue square, has to equal zero because that's the only way to get to zero by multiplying. So you're going to type in 0 and hit OK. 7 times blank equals 0. Again, the red square here must equal 0. So either if you have this blue square times this pink square equals 0, either the blue factor has to equal to 0, or the pink factor has to equal to 0, or both factors are going to equal to 0, because we're having two things that are multiplied that equal to 0. So either one of the terms are 0 or they both are. Hit OK when you're ready. In this example, which factor must be 0? So we have 8 times x plus 5 equals 0. So either 8 equals 0, which is obviously not true. 8 does not equal 0. So it can't be the blue one. Or, so that means x plus 5 must equal 0. So that's going to be our pink option. It's kind of red to me, but written as pink. So you're going to click pink and hit OK. So if x plus 5 equals 0, to solve this, we would just subtract 5 on both sides, and we would get x. 5 minus 5 cancels. 0 minus 5 is negative 5. So the x value that will make this factor equal to 0 is negative 5, right? Because negative 5 plus 5 equals 0. So when x is negative 5, that factor equals 0. Get everything you need here and hit OK. When x equals negative 5, the equation equals 0. 8 times x plus 5 equals 0. So we took that value of negative 5 for x and plugged it in. So we have 8 times negative 5 plus 5. Negative 5 plus 5 gets us 0. 8 times 0 is 0. 0 equals 0. So that is kind of showing our work for how that value of negative 5 for x is going to make the function equal 0. So you can just hit OK. 4 times x minus 6 equals 0. What x value makes the pink factor equal to 0? So we take this pink factor, which is x minus 6, and we just set it equal to 0. And then we can solve. Because it's a minus 6, we're going to add 6 on both sides to cancel it out. And then we get x equals 0 plus 6 is 6. So when x is 6, that factor will equal 0, right? 6 minus 6 equals 0. Perfect. So we're plugging in 6 for our solution, and then you can hit OK when you're ready. So we have x times x plus 2 is equal to 0. I'm just going to fix my parenthesis here. There we go. So we can take our first factor, which is x, and set it equal to 0. Nothing to solve there. We're done at that point. It's just x could be equal to 0. That wouldn't make it all multiply to 0. Or this x plus 2 could be equal to 0. And to solve this, we'll subtract 2 on both sides, and we get x equals -2. So if x is 0 or -2, this function will equal 0. Beautiful. Hit OK when you're ready. And if we plug it in, we can kind of see what happens. So if x is 0, we have 0 times 0 plus 2. 0 plus 2 is 2. 0 times 2 is 0. So we do get 0 equals 0. If we plug in -2, -2 plus 2 is 0. -2 times 0 is 0. There's another option for getting that value of 0. Beautiful. For this next one, we have 2x minus 8 times 2x minus 6. And we're trying to figure out what x values will make that equal to 0. So we can start with the first one, the blue factor, 2x minus 8. So I'm going to take that blue factor and I'm going to set it equal to 0. Now to solve this, the first thing I'm going to do is add 8 to both sides. -8 plus 8 cancels, so we have 2x equals 8. And then divide both sides by 2, and we get x equals 4. So for our first parenthesis, if 4 is our x value, it will all cancel out to 0. For the second one, we have 2x minus 6. I'm going to do this one over here, equals 0. So we can add 6 to both sides, and we get 2x equals 6. Divide both sides by 2, and we get x equals 3. So either x equals 4 or x equals 3. Those are the two options, the two x values that will make the whole function equal to 0. Beautiful. Take what you need here and then hit OK. This is a little trick if you want. You don't have to memorize this by any means. If this is confusing for your brain or it doesn't really click in a way that feels good, don't worry, but this is a little shortcut. So you place the opposite of the number over the coefficient. So if we have 2x minus 1 equals 0, if we solve this, we're going to add 1 to both sides first, and then we get 2x equals 1, and then we're going to divide both sides by 2 to get x equals 1/2. So that's how they got this number here. They just took this 1 and put it over the 2. That's just like a quick shortcut. You change the sign, and then you put it over the coefficient of x. So for this one, we have a 3. We made it a -3, and then put it over the 4. That's just like a quick shortcut. Again, you don't have to know this, but we're just essentially adding, subtracting, and then dividing to get our answer. So that's just how it's going to always play out when we have this type of setup. So let's look at this example. Maybe you use the shortcut, but if you don't like the shortcut, I'm going to do the workout on the side. So we have 3x minus 1 equals 0. I'm going to add 1 to both sides to get rid of that -1. And I get 3x equals 1. And then I'm going to divide by 3 to get x equals 1/3. And if you looked at the shortcut, right, you take that -1, make it positive, put it over the 3. So we can see for this next one, we're going to take this +1, we're going to make it negative, and then we're going to put it over the 5. That's going to be our answer, but let's double check and make sure it's correct. So we have 5x plus 1 equals 0. Subtract 1 on both sides to get 5x equals -1. Divide both sides by 5 to get x equals -1/5. Either way, whether you do the work out or if it feels better, you know, to do that little shortcut, you can do that, whatever you would like. Once you have all this all set here on this slide, go ahead and hit OK. (9x minus 5). Maybe you're looking at the shortcut, maybe you're doing the workout. We're going to add 5 to both sides, and we get 9x equals 5. And then we're going to divide both sides by 9 to get x equals 5/9. And I'll do this next one with the shortcut. We're going to take this positive 3 and do the opposite of the number. So it's going to become a negative 3. And then we're going to put it over the coefficient of x, which is 7, like so. And essentially all we're doing here is subtracting 3 on both sides and then dividing by 7. So it's negative 3 over 7. Hit OK when you're ready. Alrighty. 8x plus 5. Let's do this one out. So if we have 8x plus 5 times 6x plus 1, set each of the factors equal to 0. Subtract 5 on both sides to get 8x equals negative 5. And then divide by 8. And we have x equals negative 5 over 8. Using our little shortcut method, we take this 1 and we make it a negative 1, and then we put it over 6. So we have negative 1 over 6. Beautiful. Hit OK when you're ready. Pause the video whenever if you need to. And I think this is our last one. 5x minus 4 equals 0. That's our first factor. Add 4 to both sides to get 5x equals 4. Divide by 5 to get x equals 4/5. In red, 7x plus 6 could equal 0. Subtract 6 on both sides to get 7x equals negative 6. Divide by 7 to get negative 6/7. Beautiful. And hit OK. And that's a wrap on the zero product property. So hopefully you're feeling a little better on figuring out what those x value solutions roots are going to be. Just when you have two terms being multiplied, two factors multiplied and equal 0, set each factor equal to 0 and solve. Beautiful. Take care, my friends. See you in the next video.